Hi. Hi. Did you drink the ooze?
Why can I understand you?
Oh, great. That's the ooze. Hey, everybody, it worked. Ooze worked.
Hello and welcome back to A Stark Contrast, where we discuss the differences and similarities from Marvel Comics to their MCU counterparts. And we are your hosts, Geoffrey
and Dai.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
What's up?
You know, same old, same old.
Tired adults coming to you
Always.
live from my couch.
I feel like I haven't breathed, took a breath
Yeah.
since the start of the new year.
Same. Hard same.
So, you know. I'm always glad we can find time in between our busy schedules to record an episode.
But we managed to do it
Yes.
each and every time. And that's very satisfying.
It is. It is like,
Yeah.
because it's like during the week, it's like I worked. It's like, all right. And then it's like, oh, do we have to record the pod? We do have to record the pod and have to figure out a day where we can both record.
Yeah.
And then it's all right, cool, I'm doing that. And it's like part of like my schedule. And it's
Yeah.
like,
It's part of the actual routine.
yeah. Like, like doing stuff like after work, like after end of day work.
Yeah,
And I'm
that
like,
too.
okay, like this is like a second job.
Yeah.
Which is like, but it's a fun job.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Ugh. And freelance.
Yes.
All the freelance.
Yeah.
But needless to say, here we are recording. Yes. A lot of stuff has happened, at least when it comes to the MCU. And so today we're doing a pretty fun, we're changing it up a little bit, which we'll get into a little bit, in a couple of minutes. But for the meanwhile, let's go ahead and go down the line with some cool stuff happening about in the MCU. Sort of related, but not related, but mostly related. My dear pal, 100% Soft, released a new Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania line. So if you haven't checked it out yet, there's an adorable Megamoji. I had to get my hands on it. I went and bought it. And then my pal sent me a MODOK pin, which is really cool. So get you some of that.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So these are the graphics that they used for the Twitter hashtags when the movie was, circulating the heavy marketing cycle. So get some of that stuff. Support my little buddy over there, and get some cute stuff in the process. Next up, the first Fridays at the Natural History Museum are in full swing, and so they've got 2 events under the belt. They're on the 3rd. So April's theme is all about space. So if you're into Star Wars, or if you like NASA, that event's going to be right up your alley. And then,
nice.
Tickets will be available at nhm.org /First Fridays. And of course, there are 2 more months ahead. I believe May is all about kaijus and and Godzilla and Sentai robots and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then they're ending the season in June with the theme superheroes.
Woo!
Which we'll have great details about to come.
Yes.
But before that, we got some great news in the MCU.
Some great return news.
John Bernthal is returning to his role as Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, and he'll make his debut in Daredevil. So
that's huge.
That is gigantic, because
humongous.
I didn't expect him this early.
Yes,
even though early
I would agree.
It's not early, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't
have
expect
expected
him to be the first one out of that group.
No,
to
not
come
even.
back.
Yeah, like after Charlie and Vincent, I was just kind of like, all right, well, who could be? I mean, I truly suspected that Kristen Ritter would be the first, but John Bernthal. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Deborah Ann Wall and Alden will not be returning.
That was a Deadline report. So
yeah.
I'm always like, maybe they're just putting that report out so that they can fake us out.
Yeah.
But then again,
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen.
It was probably
somewhere.
a hard decision to make.
I'm
but
sure.
It's a brand new take on Daredevil.
It is. It's a new day.
Yes.
So they we might lose some folks.
It's called Born Again for a reason.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. So, we'll see. But yeah, John Bernthal, man. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
I think they begin filming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also true. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I believe both Charlie and Vincent will be at the convention that I'm going to at the end of this month.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to say.
They're definitely going to spoil it.
Tell me everything. Hi, Charlie. Nice to meet you. Can you tell me everything about Born Again?
Each 18 episode, what are they going to be about?
Exactly. So who's playing Electra?
Like, come on.
What episode does Kristen come in?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Who's coming back? Who's not?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the scoop?
Ready. So that's really exciting. And then what else is exciting is that Disney Plus dropped a brand new series, Marvel series on all of us today we're recording on International Women's Day. And
Woo!
So a new series, 4 episodes. It's short but sweet, entitled Empower, like Marvel, Marvelous, I guess, Power, from executive producer Zoe Saldana, also known as our beloved Gamora. It's now streaming on Disney Plus. I can't wait to check that out. Definitely didn't see that one coming. Super excited. It's all about the women of the MCU and the characters that they play and the impression that they've left on the fans. So yeah, super stoked. Gonna tune into that very, very soon. Hope you do too. And then speaking of Gamora, we are officially in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 marketing season. I walked into the grocery store the other day.
Oh, really?
And I just saw Mantis staring at me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what is this? And I gravitated to it. And they're on the Cheerios boxes, collect all 6.
2 months before the movie?
2 months. They're starting. Yeah. Which in olden times, not so olden, like 4 years ago, this is late, Like usually the lead used to be 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And now it's like 2 months. Do, and then they're done.
Yeah, Disney's marketing calendar's got to look crazy.
Can you imagine the color coding on that? It's probably a gradient of rainbow.
And it's shared amongst like hundreds of employees.
Right? All watermarked.
Like who's releasing a post today? Oh,
I know.
All right.
My God. And in different countries and different languages. And
yes.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so be on the lookout for some cool stuff. I don't know anything else that they might be doing yet, but I'm sure it's going to be the usual. Some fast food joint's going to have it. Some car company's going to have it. Some product
collabs.
Yeah, and then of course, my prediction is by the end of this month, if not first week of April, tickets will be on sale. So definitely look out for that. I'm going to get the fan event for this.
Like you always do.
If anyone is listening that can get us into the premiere, I will pay good money.
We will pay good money. I will
cosplay as James. I think I commented on one of his posts and I was like, all right, so just FYI, I'm going to cosplay as you so I can get into the premiere.
I will cosplay as Kevin Feige because I have his hat.
Can we please do that? So I'm very excited. I can't wait. More Guardians. And so in semi-related news, but to cap off this little tidbit of updates, this episode's giveaway. So we had a successful second giveaway for our Ant-Man episode. If you didn't tune in, that was number 49. We talked all things Scott Lang. We gave away an Ant-Man or Pim's Kitchen prize pack, which included 2 cups from Avengers Campus as well as 2 Ant-Man pins, Wasp and the Pym logo itself, actually. And to Alex on Instagram.
Woo!
So congrats, Alex. I hope you enjoy your stuff. Thanks for listening. For this episode, initially, I'll admit, I wasn't going to give anything away because it wasn't character affiliated, but it is the 50th episode. So I gotta do something. So for this episode, if you have not won yet, now is your chance. We have a Disney 100 Celebration Marvel Memorabilia Medallion set to give away. And so I mentioned these in the previous episode. They're really cool silver dollar size medallions. They're really coins. Let's just call it what it is. That have embellishments of Spider-Man, Captain America, Steve Rogers, Groot, and Black Panther on them. And on the other side, it says Disney 100 Celebration, etc., etc., etc. And so if you respond to us with the key phrase mentioned later in this episode. Send it to us before next Friday via Instagram or Twitter, and we will pick somebody among those submissions, and someone will win all 4 coins for free, just for listening. Woo! So you could win. Congratulations, future winner. And with that said, we have a very special lineup for today. We racked our brains a bit, like trying to decide, like, okay, well, it's a big number. It's a monumental number. What do we do? And we mentioned this in our Scotland episode that there was this list of questions that a Marvel fan, I need to downplay it. Apparently, I pulled it up too high last time.
Oh,
like,
did you?
This gigantic fanatic. So Desmari, she's been pulling together these questions as she's explored the MCU. And so from her perspective, all these questions that kind of come up, which I'm sure many, many people think about while watching films 100%. And the series and how all this comes together, especially for, people that aren't so well versed with the comics, or they only know certain nuances about the source material. So it was a really fun list. And so we're going to tackle that list.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be fun. Jeff keeps saying it's rapid fire.
Some of them will, but some of them I might have a strong opinion on.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
And a strong deep dive.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
We are going to jump into it.
We're going to jump into it.
I'll read the first one.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. By the way, there's 50 questions, guys.
Yeah, at least 50 questions.
It's like just a mind dump.
Yeah.
Of just questions that you probably never thought of, or you probably have and just never thought that it would matter, but it does.
Yeah.
First question: do shield and sword coexist?
Okay, so I was really interested to hear your immediate answer on this one, because it took me a second to remember, and I was like,
I almost was like, what's sword again? And then I was like,
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, like I thought it was from the show, Agents of Shield, and I was like, wait, no, that was Shield.
Yeah.
And then sword is obviously was introduced, I think, in WandaVision.
Yes,
WandaVision?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Jimmy Woo.
Got the quiz questions right. I'm going strong.
And I have it here. So,
oh yes,
the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division, aka SHIELD, versus SWORD, which is the Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Division. 2 different entities within the Marvel universe.
But every MCU fan knows that SHIELD fell.
Yes.
In Captain America Winter Soldier.
There it is. Yeah.
So
that is correct.
Unless they're on some Hydra stuff.
Yeah.
And they're operating underground, and only Nick Fury knows something about it. But we all know last time we saw Nick Fury, he was in space.
And he burned all the stuff in that holding. They do not.
I'm going to say on paper, SHIELD does not exist anymore.
Right.
On paper.
On paper. That's a wise way of saying it.
Yeah. On paper, it does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think SWORD is the new. Yes.
Yeah.
The new proceeding.
Sure.
After? I don't even know. My words are all messed up.
No, you're right.
But yes, I think SWORD is like the follow-up, like the V2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, and so like as Jeff said, for those of you who didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the season 3 kicks off concurrent to the events of Winter Soldier.
I forgot about that.
So you see it from another perspective, from Bobby Morse's perspective, Mockingbird, and I only know this because I'm a huge Mockingbird fan. But that's to me also when the show actually really got going. Like it was okay at first, but by season 3, man,
because
that really kicked off.
Now there's no organization that you report to.
Exactly.
You're like, I was fighting for something, and I don't know what I'm fighting for anymore.
Yeah, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens what transpires with SWORD moving forward into Phase 5.
I don't think SHIELD should come back. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
No
they covered quite a bit of it, the history, like from literally almost 100 years of that
pretty much,
organization.
From the first Captain America to the fall of it in the second Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. And then even with the throwbacks.
Yes.
Of, Agent Carter and all that too. There's so much. And Sharon Carter for that matter. Number 2, why have Nick Fury and Maria Hill not died? I mean,
movie contracts.
Man, Colby Smulders is just like, sure, I'll come in.
She's
for
collecting a
minutes.
bag whenever she can.
And she's so darn good at it, which is like, respectable. They're both great at those roles.
I think I will say, I think they're probably two of the most important characters, but you don't think they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're staples. They really
yes,
are staples
like
to the entire
McFury
universe.
played a humongous role for the latter of 10, 12 years. And he was the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he was the one who organized the Avengers. So I think that's why he's so prominent.
Right.
But then now it's like, he doesn't have an organization that he runs.
Yeah.
He kind of goes under the radar. We know he's in space.
And he's
but
gone galactic.
He's really good. He's good friends with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Remind me, what happened to Maria? Because at the end of Far From Home, we learned that she was a clone.
yes,
Or not a clone,
It was a
but-
scroll.
It was a scroll. A scroll was shape-shifting as her. So
I forget where she has popped
I
up.
don't remember where she is.
We're gonna have to definitely backtrack. But
Yeah. But she's still alive,
yes,
as far as we know.
she was not in Infinity War or Endgame, correct?
I don't believe
No,
so.
no. She was in Infinity War. She got snapped.
Oh, yeah.
We just never see her.
We never see her
come
come
back.
Man.
She's at the end of Endgame. She was at Tony Stark's funeral.
Yes, she was.
That's what we know.
we think it's her.
Damn it.
Yeah, so, I mean, well, she's alive.
Yes.
Let's just settle on she's alive. Don't know why she's not dead. Do you think she'll die in the next phase
Isn't
or two?
she coming back
She's
in
come back for Secret
Invasion?
Secret Invasion, yeah.
See, that's also why she's important. She got a
They
new
got-
show.
she
They got a
got-
new
yeah,
show coming.
She got to kick it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're just like two of the most like important, grounded,
Yeah.
non-superheroes.
And they're also like the remnants of what was, right?
Yes.
And so there's still parts of S.H.I.E.L.D. that still exist. And then also they could be very important components to Sword. I was going to say Sword. Sword
Yeah.
and whatever organizations follow,
Yeah.
But most importantly, because of the Secret Invasion storyline. So
yeah.
so there's that.
I don't think Nick Fury's ever gonna die.
Yeah.
And if they both like just don't want to do Marvel stuff anymore, then I think that we'll just see them like just they'll have their cap
The
send off.
sunset.
Yeah. Third one. If WandaVision's whole mess happened before the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, why did nobody realize? I have the perfect logistical reasoning question for that.
What is that, Jeff?
Because that's the way they wrote it.
I know, right? Exactly.
I hate
Exactly.
to be the bearer of bad news and break the fourth wall,
Yeah, right.
but I think that's also the downside of having this interconnected universe that Marvel has been building since 2008, 9. It's like oh, but this happened. Well, how come they didn't talk about it in this new one? And it's like, well, it's not really pertinent to the story.
Yeah, because if they and also it's kind of like it's like the Easter egg effect, right? Or like the stinger effect that a lot of people don't like. They don't like that they refer to things that are all intertwined. So I feel like it's almost like Marvel's way of being like, we don't have to nod to it. Like fans
are hawks, man. I gotta show respect to it at some point because they'll be like, wait, like why did it? Well, this happened in the last. How come this doesn't? And it's like, well,
right.
it's just
Well, and this is also a superhero world, right? So you think about the environment when they it's like they have enhanced in the field, right?
Oh, that's right.
So enhanced are everywhere. Enhanced people, individuals, and so I almost feel like if it did come up in conversation during Falcon and Winter Soldier, they might not even have details. It would just be like another empowered was in the field today in a Western town, blah, blah, blah. And it's not, again, it's exposition fodder.
I mean, you have to think like the world's a big place.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just have to think like, well, the WandaVision stuff happened in New Jersey.
Jersey? Was it Jersey? Geoffrey!
I'm not that,
I don't know.
I'm not that guy on TikTok
Westview.
that can
I
just
don't know where Westview is.
It's somewhere in there.
Sure.
And then Falcon Winter Soldier was that took place in DC, and then parts in other in
Europe, yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
I don't think they have tabs on every single thing. You know, heroes gotta live their individual lives.
And I also think it's just best represented in like previous maps that they've shown us, right? Like they show S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's got like a map of the globe and it's just incidents are all over the place, right? It's not like that specific thing is going to be more important than any other.
Yeah.
Sure, they can reference it. They don't have to. You know?
I just read questions 4 and 5.
Okay, so
and
number 4.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, number 4. If Spider-Man Far From Home, what is that? Is that Far From Home? Happened after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, why were Bucky and Sam suddenly oblivious and non-existent? Like there were massive beings creating literal world-crumbling earthquakes, and Sam and Bucky didn't know. And you can't blame it on grief from Endgame because clearly Sam and Bucky were bros by the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That is so. And I'm going to read question 5 because it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Still going on Spider-Boy and Bucky. Like they both live in New York City. Like, hello, you don't have to care about him, but at least acknowledge his existence. And it's like, I mean, that's a totally valid question because if you guys know each other, like, wouldn't you say hi?
Yeah, right. But then also like Bucky is 106. Yes. And he's the literal child. Yeah. What do they have in common aside being superpowered beings? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, for the Far From Home one, also valid, right? Like
it's all valid.
Yeah, there's giant things overseas, and Spider-Man just happens to be overseas. But I think it made news, but also, like, you know, they're not gonna. It's
go out of their way.
Again, it's an empowered, it's an enhanced field. Like people, it's not gonna. To me, these incidents to those people in that universe, they're like, oh, okay, it's Tuesday. Okay, the thing crashed through a wall today. Whatever. Yeah. Like it's just another day. Yeah. Just like the giant, sorcerer octopus.
It's a hard question to answer because. It's all like assumption, but valid because...
And they can't do everything, right? Yeah. There's different superheroes for different things, so it's not like...
And then that flows into number 6.
Yeah.
No, because how did Fury and Hill figure their way into Spider-Man Far From Home, but Mr. Avenger Sam was oblivious? Like, huh? You're an Avenger. And let's think, who created the Avengers? Also, you're Captain America now. Huh? I love this so much.
I feel like these are thoughts that you have in the exact same phrasing. Like
I mean,
exact
it's very
same phrasing.
Valid.
Yeah.
I'll get to the part of, well, after we watched Far From Home, we know that Fury and Hill were not Fury and Hill, and they were Skrulls.
They were Skrulls, exactly.
So I really don't know how to. Maybe Nick sent them and was like, hey. Mm-hmm. Can you just do this? And they just happen to get caught up in this crazy like predicament of Mysterio and stuff.
Yeah.
Which also goes into Sam, you're Captain America now. Yeah. But if you saw Endgame, why he's Captain America. I'm sure she knows that.
Yeah. I think she's calling him out.
Oh, like calling him out like,
he's like, oh, you're Captain America. Come on now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's honestly very hilarious because I think if that was our real world, like if that was actually happening, you'd probably be like, hello.
I mean, like there's a balloon in the sky and everybody loses their minds.
Like, where's the Avengers?
Yeah, exactly. Hello. Oh man. Oh God. Although I do wish. I have that thought every now and then. Like, where are the Avengers? We could use the Avengers right now. Number 7. To be honest, I know nothing about WandaVision, so I'm removing her from this equation. But don't we think Spider-Boy had any idea John Walker was parading around New York City with the power broker and Carly, or do we just think he was just trying to get an education?
That's hilarious. That's so hilarious. I just don't know how to answer some of these.
I mean,
but it's valid.
He should 100% know that. He should 100% like, yeah.
This goes with Spider-Man No Way Home and coinciding that with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that same question too because I thought like ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what's happening,
like
guys?
we know Spider-Man No Way Home ended during Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we know Hawkeye takes place during Christmas in New York, and you're like, oh, well, and it never happened.
Clint is more deaf than we thought.
Yeah. And it never, Basically, freaking Clint is fighting a whole underground, like,
street level,
like, jumpsuit guy, tracksuit, mafia.
Yeah.
Fighting, like,
tracksuit.
Yeah, fighting, God, Wilson Fisk.
Wilson
head of crime in New York.
Yeah.
Where's Spider-Man? You would think he would know something.
I know. You know, just imagine if the Sony ties weren't a thing.
Yes. You want the real answer? It's because of rights.
Yeah, right. But I think, man, if Spider-Man were in that situation, he would have taken John Walker down so quick, and then Sam and Bucky would hate him even more.
Yes. 100%. Be like, Spider-Man? Gosh.
Yeah, the dumb kid. Do you want to read? Do you want to go alternate?
Yeah. Number 8. Genuinely don't get why everyone literally erased each other from their minds after Endgame. Did y'all not just fight a crazy war together to save humanity? Does that not cause bonding?
I know.
Valid question.
Yes.
And I will say yes, I think it created a bond, but...
Yeah.
Not every MCU movie has to be an Avenger team-up movie.
Yeah.
And I think you see that in Ant-Man Quantumania because it's Scott. Now it's Scott and Hope. It's after Endgame. How are they living life after, post Endgame? So I think that's what we have to get used to now. I know people saw Endgame and Infinity War. They're like, ooh, this is going to be every single MCU project, from now on. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, we still need just one character moments, one character stories.
They're living their own lives.
Yeah, they have lives.
Yeah.
Like, we saw that kind of magnified in Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision and those shows.
Yep.
So, yeah, they still have lives and they're still dealing with stuff individually that they can't always rely on all the other Avengers.
Yeah, I think it's that simple. Because, you have Thor off in, Asgard, or not Asgard, but...
He's all over space.
He's all over space dealing his space stuff, and with Jane. And then meanwhile, you have all the Earthbound heroes that are, both doing their enhanced field work and then also, street level stuff. So,
9 and 10. She's blowing my mind right now.
So number 9, literally everything about Loki. He doesn't make sense. That makes it so funny. And then 10. 10 is, we might as well get into 10. The scene in the beginning of Loki is from 2012, aka the time of the Avengers when they defeated him. But apparently that scene is actually from Endgame. How? Why am I supposed to understand that? Like, does this show not take place in between Avengers and Ragnarok? I'm so confused.
I think I had that wait, so the show Loki, it takes place, how I see the show Loki, it takes place in basically purgatory. It just doesn't exist. Like, it's just at a stalemate of time and space.
I would agree with that, actually.
It's because, it's a...
Yeah.
Like, he used... Okay, hold on. I'm like frying.
I'm watching him fry in real time. This is wild. Yeah, give me the rundown, Jeff.
So in that flashback of 2012,
yes,
Loki gets his hands on the Tesseract.
Yes,
that's what transports him.
Yes,
to. Yeah, that's what transports him to the
desert.
The desert.
Yeah.
And because of that, because he messed with that specific timeline, because that's not what's supposed to happen,
right.
That's when the TVA comes in, and that's when they take him into the quote-unquote purgatory.
Correct.
So technically, Loki probably the whole span of Loki probably happens in a span of 5 minutes, maybe.
It could, because the time works different
in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And maybe the TVA is definitely in the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't establish that.
Yeah.
We don't know what the TVA is. We don't know what that part is. Mm-hmm. So it's all. So I think that's why it works and makes sense, because they're able to tell the story in a place where time and doesn't exist.
Exactly.
So I know that can get confusing because now you're like, wait, so basically that timeline's just shot.
Yeah.
That 2012 timeline is shot.
Yeah.
Because I know you're probably thinking like, well, Cap delivered all the stones back to where they were, but yeah, the Tesseract went back in 1970s at the New Jersey facility.
The facility, yeah. The
so
compound.
that 2012 timeline is just shot.
The only thing from 2012 is literally Loki.
Yeah.
Everything else is
the same.
Yes.
So
Ooh,
I hope that answers somewhat of the question.
But yeah, she's absolutely right because like how
does that make sense?
How is a casual fan supposed to understand that without going back? And that's
how
true.
that's how I saw Loki, the show of Loki, like it was happening in a purgatory time.
That makes total sense. Yeah, agreed.
11. Why are all higher spiritual beings always British? Vision, Silver Surfer. I mean.
That's funny.
Jarvis, I guess.
Jarvis,
who's
Peggy
played
Carter.
by Vision.
Oh, but Peggy isn't exactly a higher spiritual being, but yeah, I mean, it. I think
Ultron. James Spader makes him sound a little British, but
like
it's not.
A hair, yeah.
A hair.
I think it's and also Thanos is not. Josh Brolin just has a very commanding voice. I think it's just because that very particular version of a British accent is very regal.
Regal, that's a word.
And elegant.
Yes.
And therefore it sounds sophisticated.
Yes.
And also I don't remember who voiced Silver Surfer. I know that
I just saw this the other day.
Doug played him, but I don't know if he did the voice.
He might
have though, because he is also a voice actor. But yeah, in both of those particular cases for the characters, I just feel like they do have to have like an air of elegance to them, and so they're also like pretty chill.
Yeah,
they're not chaotic characters.
Yes,
right. So I think that
maybe.
Yeah, but that is they're very hilarious because
it's a hilarious observation.
Oh, and Professor X is kind of
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's Sir Pat. So I mean, Sir Pat is
12. How is Wanda apparently the same in each universe? Like there are no alternate Wandas.
You know what? I'll be honest. I didn't even think of that until I read this question.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy Toledo. She's absolutely correct.
Same in each unit. Like there are no.
Because the whole thing, it's so interesting because you don't really realize it. But yeah, they're building up variants. They go into Loki. Granted, Loki came after, but before. It came before Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. So it's kind of like they spent the course of Loki introducing different versions of him and getting you used to the fact that there are multiverses. And then also like, oh, hey, Spider-Verse is a thing.
I'll say time and money.
Practicality.
Just because this was a movie that was filmed during the pandemic and had to get switched and story switched. So they were like, well, let's just make Wanda the same in every universe. And I mean, the same goes for the kids. The kids look the same. In every universe. But valid.
I think also, I mean, where they probably had an opportunity to introduce different different versions. They just didn't because that very specific version of Wanda Maximoff, the homebody with the two children, is the most normal version, and that she wanted it.
Yeah.
That version. Yeah. Perhaps. Because I mean, I would have loved to have seen a variant version of it, of her and the children. But tis what it is.
Yeah.
Number 13.
Go for
it. Why is Loki getting arrested by the Time People, but not Steve, when Steve literally went back in time? That's a great question.
Was this answered at all?
No.
In the movies? Or maybe it was
not at all. No, because I mean, and the crazy thing is that they even explain in Infinity War, right? Or is it Infinity War? Again, I always forget. But when the Ancient One is explaining the timeline splitting to Bruce Banner, like they go into this whole thing about how the time variance changes when somebody interferes with the timeline. And then Steve Rogers does the thing
I feel like someone,
but nobody comes for him.
I feel like someone asked, like,
really?
like, how come Steve Rogers was able to do that? And I was like,
Right.
oh, it's because it's fine with him.
He gets away with it.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe I'm tripping hard.
I don't know,
I could be.
right?
Maybe I'm just imagining things, but that is a fair question.
What if here's a plot twist? What if he didn't get old? Like, he got old, but what if he was taken away by the TVA and he's hidden somewhere? What if ...
Captain America time heist.
I know. Get him out. I miss Steve Rogers.
That's a great question. I wish we could have like a legit answer.
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
he
know.
did. Maybe he didn't. They were just like, you know what? We see why he did it. That's fine. We'll allow it.
Yeah, I know. I could see the Watcher being like, "Oh, I should interfere," but he's helping all the time.
I think Jonathan Majors has a good heart. He was like,
Jonathan Majors?
He Who Remains. He probably saw
Oh,
that.
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, talk about Kang. 14.
Power broker being Sharon? Girl, did you learn nothing from Aunt Peggy? What if this is a repercussion of Steve going back in time, though?
Interesting.
Asking all the right questions.
Right?
I think I had the same question too. I was like, "Oh, it's Sharon," and then Sharon gave her reasoning in the show, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds." I was like, "Yeah,
Honestly,
that would lead me down a dark. That would probably lead me down a dark path." Also, like she got basically shunned.
She got shunned. She got left behind.
No one cared about her.
No, she was a total casualty. And so they just left her in the dust, and she was advocating for all of them.
Because the last time
she's a normal human being.
Yeah, because I was like, where do you see her again? Where do you see her last? I was like, oh, it was Civil War where she went against Shield. It's not Shield, but she went against the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Got Cap and all the Team Cap their shield and gear back and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you just assume that like, okay, well, because she helped Team Cap, she had to like go on the run.
And that's with the last time we saw her was the infamous Volkswagen in the back of the Bug.
Yes.
Can you move your seat up scene, right? Wow.
Yeah.
That's that's wild to think about.
Yeah.
That big of
2016
a gap.
was the last time you see her before
Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Holy smokes. Yeah. No, I think and to me, that's one of the most like authentic character progressions there is.
Yeah. And I was like
she was just
she had to go out of the US and it went to Madripoor, that's right. And she had to build her way up.
Yeah.
And she couldn't back down. So
yeah. Woo.
It's valid.
Super duper. Yeah, the second part is interesting too. What if this is a repercussion of Steve going back in time? I think
that's a reach.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that. Number 15, multiverse, give me some rules or something. Earth 616. Like what?
That's about from a person who's not familiar with comics or like how things work, worlds work.
Yeah.
Totally fair question.
Yeah, for sure.
Earth 616 is the main
Prime
MCU universe. Marvel universe. Yes. Yeah, that's where all movies have taken place.
Yeah.
Up until Multiverse of Madness and stuff. So
what is MCU? Earth 9999999.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's like the very
and then Earth 883 whatever that where they met the Illuminati.
Oh yeah, 836.
836. Something like it was 83 something.
The look I just get, I'm like, you're supposed to know this.
I was like, I think so.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It's been a week. It's been a year.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But they explained the universe rules, I think, in the Illuminati scene, right? The inversions. Incursions.
Yeah.
Missing just a letter off. Incursions, where if you spend too much time in other universes, you can cause an incursion between the two universes.
Yeah.
Thus killing everybody.
Here, I mean, like, that's an interesting thought to think about going back to Steve Rogers then, right? Like, he had to...
Here we go. We can go back. We can go back.
What if him spending?
But then again, Steve Rogers would definitely kill 2 universes to be with Peggy.
Yeah, that is a solid truth. That you're right though. That they did very much lay it out in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness during the Illuminati scene. So there's something.
There's some rules to traveling the multiverse. But there is only one person that can travel the multiverse without incursion, and that is...
Who's that?
America Chavez.
America Chavez.
She gets the only green light.
Yep, true that.
Number 16. Why?
Yes.
Why are directors cowards, and why didn't they serve Bucky and Nat? I don't know, man. Sounds like bad writing to me.
Yo.
Did you write this question? I did not. If you guys have been listening to the show, Dai has been shipping a Bucky Nat ship.
Dude, Desmari knows what's up. Bucky Nat. We got like robbed.
Winter Widow
robbed. But given the events of Black Widow and what that tells us about Nat, and also the events of Civil War that told us about the timeline for Bucky, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't check out the way it could and should have. I say should have. This is one of the few circumstances where I'll say should have. Because, it is truly an iconic pairing. Yes. But, again, the door is open for the new Black Widow or White Widow, Yelena Belova. Yeah. I'm still kind of iffy if it will, but I mean, if the rumors are true, it could happen.
Maybe it was just like a different iteration of it, and they just didn't want to serve that story that in the early MCU.
I almost think it's also a matter of the positioning that Nat had in different films, right? Like, because somebody mentioned it. I saw it in a comment not too long ago. Like, someone was like, really calling back to Cap Nat, and I was like, actually, that would have been a great pairing. Yeah. And was that Winter Soldier? Yeah, in Winter Soldier. But then they tossed her to Bruce, and so it was like, and then of course she started, quote unquote, with Tony, so it was kind of like, all right, she's thrown all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. And so to then throw her one more place, I don't know, but. Especially with the family being such a focus on how they ended her story. Yeah. I think there wasn't room for it, unfortunately, unless she decided to do 5 more films. Yeah. but so, unfortunately, that's another casualty of source material, which leads us into number 17, Taskmaster being a Bucky clone. Huh.
Wonder where she got that from.
I don't know. That's interesting, though. Huh. Because quick backtrack, it's Antonia in the film.
Which people don't like already.
Which people already hate. Because it's not Tony Masters. Yeah. Who is Taskmaster in the comic books. And so Antonia is the daughter of the Red Room calculator man.
Yes. Leader. Creator.
So I'm not sure where the Bucky clone part.
Maybe she's just assuming. Maybe she's just like, well, maybe, Yeah. But no.
Because the super soldier tendency, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah.
But we'll say no for that one?
No, I don't think so. Bucky, you don't think so? No? No.
And number 18, which goes back to the conversation we had at number 16, Natasha and Bruce? Yes, it's a question. Someone explain it to me. You know who can explain it to you? Joss Whedon.
I know.
But we don't talk about.
I don't think many people do anymore.
Yes, it was a surprise to all of us. And it did get, I think it was like because it got thrown in Age of Ultron. Yeah. It felt like they had to carry it all the way through. Yeah. And it's like okay. But I mean,
and it actually like almost originated from Avengers, right? When the Hulk is unleashed and Natasha gets the PTSD.
Yeah, and she's the one talking to him the most. Mm-hmm.
And then it like bleeds into Age of Ultron where the sun's getting real low, big guy.
And even in Thor Ragnarok when when the Hulk turns back into Bruce because Natasha left the message.
Yeah.
I can't like explain it to you other than the fact that they just wrote it like that.
Yeah.
But
I know, it's just a plot point. It's just like, we need a romantic plot point.
yeah.
What's it going to be? And then they do it.
So, hey.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's it.
Which leads to 19. Also, the inconsistency in Natasha's character, like, so rude.
Yeah, it's true though, right? I feel like Black Widow, the film, is probably the most true version of that character.
Yeah.
Including Winter Soldier. Nat. That Nat is so good. Like, she's just like
The Nat and Winter Soldier, I'm a
getting
huge
in
fan
there,
of. Yes.
just doing her thing. She's bantering.
But that version of Nat exists because of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she had a purpose and a mission.
And then we see an example of the opposite of that is her in Endgame when she's talking to all of the other heroes, where like, all right, update on that, like she wants a structure, like she needs to feel like she's needed and that she's doing something good.
Yeah.
So like she said in Endgame, like, before this I had nothing and now I have this family. And because of Endgame, what happened in Endgame, everybody snapped. Like, she felt like she lost a lot of purpose. And so that kind of, you know, that leads to like what Endgame is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would you say it's like it's the post-Whedon? The post-Whedon is the better Nat because, yeah, they actually started to formulate her character after the departure of Joss.
Yeah.
And his input.
That's definitely probably it. I mean, a lot of people say Russo's, you know, helped save the MCU in a way. Sure.
Yeah.
But it's tough. When you have these many characters and you're trying to like interweave everybody's story. Sure, inconsistent character in Natasha. I'll agree to that. But I still think she went out the proper way. As messed up as that might sound to some people.
Yeah.
And but she made a choice. She knew, everyone knows, at least the people who do know, like she made a sacrifice that saved the world.
Yeah.
It did.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Number 20 is fun. Who is Val? Like, why does she have so many connections with every person ever? Update, she literally dated the person in Thor. Which killed me. I was like, oh, right, the agent. Agent Ross.
Yes.
I was like, oh, right. The agent in Thor.
She doesn't know the
the
comics,
logistics.
so yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's a fair question because
she just shows up.
People are really kind of putting together, like, well, especially if they didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Or Black Widow. Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to piece her together based on two very short cameos.
Yes.
One of which is in a Disney Plus series, and it's longer than the film version, like the film cameo. So she just pops up. She's like, "Hi, I'm Val," and it's like, I worked for all these organizations that you're not aware of.
It seems like she just wants to like collect a bunch of these anti-heroes, maybe I guess you would say.
Valentina DeFontaine.
But yes, that is very valid. But because of like the small cameos she's had, I think eventually we will find out the real purpose of her.
What I often regard her as personally is like the new Nick Fury for the non-Avengers, because she's pulling them all together in this strategic way, and she's doing it quote unquote legally as far as we can tell, but the intentions are definitely not pure. Like, she's pulling together this team to what end, we're not exactly sure yet, because Val in the comics is definitely not straight-laced. She is a bad guy. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see how she progresses in the films, especially given who will be on her team or stay on her team. I think is a better way of saying it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to read these next 3 questions because they all kind of I can tell her mind was racing as she was watching whatever she was watching. So I'm going to read 21, 22, and 23, and then maybe 24. Because, her mind was racing, and I respect
maybe through
it.
25 even, because that's also related.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the Loki in the Loki show is Endgame Loki. Yet he's from 2012.
Yes.
So if it's 2012 Loki,
yes,
why is he so different? Like, how long is the time span of the
immediately
show? We talked about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, because easily said he didn't go through the journey that the original Loki did. He didn't go through any of those teachings, the loss, the devastation of the mother and the father, and
so this 2012 Loki that we see in Endgame is just a Loki that basically you watch all of the first Avengers and then he gets arrested and that's it.
Yeah. Well, and I think also the episode, I forgot which number it was, maybe 4 or 5 or something, maybe even 1 or 2, when that Loki is in the TVA and he's re-watching what the original one went through. Like, you kind of see how in his face and the way that Tom Hiddleston, his performance in that scene is very reactionary, at least through his emotions, that you're like, oh, he's living the course of the original Loki in those few seconds. And you almost see him change, which kind of almost brings him to the same level, but clearly it's not the exact same.
Agree.
For obvious
because
reasons.
He's like, oh, I die?
I die, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember that flicker of fear in his face, and then how the single teardrop comes down.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah.
And in 22, so technically Chris Evans could play the Human Torch again since variants exist. You are not wrong.
We've danced around that idea a couple of times.
Definitely not wrong. Will we see it?
Oh my gosh.
Most likely no.
God,
but one could hope.
There's like a 1% chance. Maybe 10.
I think it's less than 1%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Chris Evans is done, man.
I feel like he might do it for fun. Just for like a fast cameo.
You give people an inch,
yeah, they'll take a mile.
They're gonna go for a mile.
Yeah, that's true. Crushing my dreams.
Why did this? And then 23. Why did this variant of a Kang all of a sudden become unable to read the future? Like, why is it coincidentally the moment that 2 Lokis come to kill him, also the moment in which he loses control over the timelines? I think it's because he had that. Remember, he had the script. Like, he knows exactly what they're going to say, what this conversation is going to entail.
He already knew his fate.
But then it got to the point of that. So there was 2 fates.
Yeah.
It was either because I think Sylvie asked him like, "So what happens next?" Like,
Yeah.
And he was like, "This I don't know because one, you're probably either going to kill me, and the timelines just go mad, or you don't kill me and I keep running this thing how it's been running and I'm keeping the flow of time safe and sound. Like, yes, I'm making," but she's like, you're making like choices for other people, and he's like, that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
And then
purpose.
Sylvie has so much pride, she's like, not to me, and then boom, stab.
Yeah.
Chaos,
yeah.
which is
butterfly effect,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was like in that moment, he knew exactly what was going to happen, but there is going to be a point where he doesn't know if he's going to die.
Yeah.
Or if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Or if he does die or he doesn't die. So you can't write that script.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, okay, well, just in case I do die,
it's kind of like in other forms of pop culture, right? Where there's a character that has a premonition or that can see into the future, and they see it for a certain other character, and they're like, oh, it's just black. And it's because that person or themselves, they can't see beyond that point because there is no them in that future. So I feel like for that version of Kang, I definitely would have to rewatch it to really gather my thought. But
I also think He Who Remains was legitimately like giving them a choice.
Yeah.
And like he was okay with dying because he's lived lifetimes.
Yeah, that too.
You know?
Yeah.
So he gave them a choice.
Yeah.
Sylvie decided to kill him because he technically took everything away from her because he created TVA and everything. And Loki was like, I don't think we should do this.
I also feel like he already knew that his fate was going to come to a certain end eventually. He just, by who and for what reason, it was the actual option, right? Like he was going to end up dead one way or another. But it just happened to be because of Sylvie.
Which leads into number 24. She's going in with these multiverse questions. I don't understand how Loki went back and winded up in a different reality, like question mark. I get why the multiverse opened, but if that temp pad was tied to a certain reality, why did Loki end up in a different one? She's talking about the ending, correct?
I guess so, right? Yeah,
where he ended up in a different...
Oh, and he ended up... Yeah, he didn't go back to the original one he was from.
Didn't recognize him. Like,
right.
Hey, like,
yeah.
And then it was just Kang in his Conqueror statue.
Yeah.
Let me reread that.
How did he end up in a different one? I mean...
You know, think you hit a random button. You think you're going back to the place you were originally, and...
and also the timelines were already splitting again.
Yes.
And he was also jumping.
And there was no
timelines.
Control anymore, so...
There was nobody at the... Yeah, no one was in the pilot seat. Like, everybody's just like...
Probably just random. And now... So, yeah, that is confusing. Yeah. So, I think what we'll see in season 2 is Loki navigating this Kang multiverse. Yeah. Especially after the events of Ant-Man Quantumania. So we will definitely get more. And then if you've seen the post-credit scene of Ant-Man Quantumania, I think it'll make a little bit more sense. Yeah.
A little bit. And then 25. Ms. Minutes. Question mark. How and why is she so important? Like, what is she? AI? A human clock? I have no idea.
Honestly, same.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's just she's like the Sharon. She's like the Karen. She's the Friday.
She runs the multiverse.
She helps run the multiverse, yeah.
But we love her. We love Tara. We love Tara Strong.
Yeah, and she's also the voice actress for Harley Quinn in the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
So Tara Strong.
I think I heard she'll play a pretty important role in season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like season 2 we might get a little more about
Minutes?
her. Ms. Minutes. Hi y'all. She's in that Marvel Snap game too. Like there's one of the scenarios is TVA, and it's like the game ends. There's usually 6 rounds for each game, and if Ms. Minutes comes up, it ends at round 4. And so she comes out of the screen and she goes, hi y'all. And then, by round 4, they drop one of those time bombs and the whole screen just goes black. And then whoever's winning wins. It's pretty great. I love it. I love how they incorporated that.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the halfway point, which coincidentally, as Geoffrey chose this number, it is officially giveaway time. Woo! So if you'd like a chance to win the Disney 100 Celebration Marvel Memorabilia Medallion Set, DM us on Instagram or Twitter with the key phrase
America's ass.
We're not even going to bleep that one because you need to know what it says. One more time.
Extra points if you want to DM America's ass with the peach emoji.
There you go. Maybe we'll throw in a little something extra. So if you'd like a shot for our giveaway, please DM us with the key phrase
America's ass.
That's where you drop the soundbite in. Boom!
Mr. Rogers, I almost forgot that suit did nothing for your ass.
No one asked you to look, Tony.
It's ridiculous.
I think you look great, Cap. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
All right. 26.
I love the Black Widow movie, but it's hurtful that they didn't show more into her past, like the Red Room, the ballet stuff we saw in Age of Ultron.
Agreed.
100% agree.
I thought, they kind of really took me on a ride with that one, and I'm sure many other viewers, because each and every time they showed it at least 2 times in the MCU.
The Age of Ultron scene was very prominent.
Very prominent.
Like,
and so,
very...
and it is also to the comic book version of this character. So it's almost like, of course they all show it. And then you get to Black Widow and they don't show any of it. They just show, throngs of widows doing routines, but they're not in the ballet format like they're known for in the comics. So yeah, no, I super duper agree with that.
That is tough. Missed opportunity, but
cut for time.
It is what it is. 27.
I love Yelena.
Yes, we both do.
Someone let me know where she gets her earrings from and who did her piercings ASAP.
Florence Pugh, if you would like to answer this question, feel free to come on the show or send us a video.
Oh my God. I can answer that only a little bit. There is a blog on Tumblr.
Of course there is.
Yeah, that does costumes or outfits from movies. And so a Yelena fan or that blog, I don't remember which one it was, did a whole suite of posts of where you could get parts of Yelena's outfits. And so the jewelry was part of it. So I did find her necklace. I found a couple of her rings. The earrings, not so much, but you can get those on Etsy if that helps. I myself own 2 pieces from that collection. So I have one of her rings and one of her necklaces. The rest of the clothing, it's hard to get because it is high-end couture and it's all out of season. So I'm pretty sure Florence stole most of that anyway. She apparently owns a couple of the outfits because she decided to walk off set with them.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. But yeah.
28. Is Jarvis human? And the simple answer to that is...
Yes.
Oh.
What? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I was thinking straight because I never watched the series. I was thinking straight to
Edwin Jarvis. Yeah, and so he was very much human, especially in the comics. He started out as a human, and then Tony later paid homage to the butler that Jarvis was and named the tech Jarvis. But in the MCU, Edwin Jarvis was a real man who followed a little bit of the comic book version in that he was an assistant of sorts. And he's prominent in the Agent Carter series. Yes. And so we never see him, but his cameo in Endgame was a big deal because he was one of those rare TV to MCU crossovers that became official. And he's the chauffeur in Endgame with Tony's dad. So, yeah. Howard Stark's driver.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's very human.
Do I know that fella? You meet lots of people, sir.
Yeah. I loved him. Oh, that's another, regal person with a British accent.
Yeah. 29. Why did Cap think the best way out of being killed by his 2012 self was to tell him Bucky was alive? I feel there was other ways out of that. Yeah. So that is a great question because I have thought about this sort of also.
Really?
2012 Cap was a stone cold killer. He was straight up. He's a by the book for the book soldier. He got told his orders. He would do it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to, but he would do it. So that's why I think. So then when 2023 Cap is fighting him, this is a Cap that's seasoned. He's seen it all already. He's he's an old man. Yeah. Quote unquote.
Quite literally.
And he was just I don't dude, what are we doing? You can see that.
Exactly.
He's
it's oh, come on.
He's
Yeah.
And I think it's just a last minute ditch effort because this 2012 Cap didn't know that at the time that Bucky would be alive. So
and also the journey that he goes on just because he knows Bucky's alive.
Yeah.
In Winter Soldier, is such a big plot point.
Humongous thing.
Yeah. So I think that proves how
and especially if
world-shaking
you
it
think
is.
about what happened 2012 Avengers, it happens pretty much right after Cap wakes up
Yeah.
from the ice.
Yeah.
And he's thrown in, into war again. And then to hear like, wait, Bucky alive? It throws him off. And probably for like the split second that 2023 Cap needed.
Yeah.
There probably was other ways out of that. I just think 2023 Cap
Yeah.
is trying to just wants to do it the easiest way. And which is also another great example to set up the elevator scene in Endgame.
Yeah.
He was like, you're probably like, oh, he's just going to fight these guys in the elevator for the Loki scepter. And he's like, no, I know these guys are Hydra, so
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. Nod to the Hydra Cap in the comics.
Right.
So
Exactly. Yeah. And also, the simple fact that it just really showcases how much Bucky meant to Cap.
yeah, 100%.
Best buds, best like pretty much brothers to the very end, or lovers, depending on who you ask. Number 30. Okay, so Clint and Nat went to Vormir, and who exactly were they planning on sacrificing for that stone? Just wondering.
Another
So
valid question.
That's a dirty double because I feel like maybe nobody knew what Vormir was about, right? Like maybe none of them knew.
I don't think none of them knew. They just
knew.
know that he came back with the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
And that was it. But they don't know what it
Transpired.
entailed
Right.
to get the Soul Stone.
Right. So it almost leads me to believe I feel like Nebula knew her sister died. But I guess she just thought Thanos physically killed her.
Yeah. She didn't know. She wouldn't have known that he had to kill her for the stone.
For the stone, right.
She probably just thought oh, they got the stone there because only Gamora knew where the stone was. But
right.
and then once he found out where it was, he killed her.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they done and dirty. Who were they planning on sacrificing for that stone? Yeah, they didn't know. So
no one
told them.
It's tough.
It's so messed up if you think about it, because they sent two pure human beings to Vormir. That's messed. That's just messed up.
Two of the bestest friends.
I know. It's like what they're supposed to do: rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
That oh man, it's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah. So sorry. There's no answer for that one. They didn't know.
31.
Yeah.
Does it even make sense how the Red Skull got trapped on Vormir because the Space Stone killed him, but again, clearly it didn't? How did he end up having to watch over the Soul Stone instead? Help, Great question.
Yeah, that's true.
He says it in the when they approach him on Vormir. Mm-hmm. If you remember from the Captain America First Avenger, when he tries to use the power of the Tesseract doesn't kill him, but it instead banishes him. If you see it in the first Cap movie, the Tesseract opens up and there's stars, space, above. He gets banished, sucked into that, and I guess that sent him to the stone. Sent him to Vormir. Mm-hmm. In the words of Red Skull, has to guide others to a treasure I cannot possess.
Yeah. Question: do you think they planned that far back, or is that a coincidence?
I'm gonna say it's a hard coincidence.
Damn, that's crazy.
Because they needed an out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's you got to tie up some loose ends. Mm-hmm. You got that one. Mm-hmm. And you can see that it makes sense because he didn't die in the first Avenger. He just got sucked into space.
Yeah, it's not quite like the Darren Cross effect.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So I hope that makes some sort of sense. 32. Why was the moment where Steve comes back as an old man so weird? Somehow Bucky and Sam are totally on board and cool with some random old man sitting on a bench being Steve. Honestly, from a realistic standpoint, yes, this is totally valid.
They were super chill about it. I would have been like, what's wrong? What happened?
Who is this man? And why is he wriggling?
Joe Biden? Yeah. I mean, Bucky, I get because he half suspected there was something going on. He knew that Steve was going back, as we we previously mentioned. Sam, though, I feel like, yeah, sure, they wanted to build the tension of he's putting it together, what Steve must have done and gone back for. But to just kind of drop him in there and he's like a literal 95-year-old man, and then both just kind of be like, oh, he's back. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's probably going to die now.
So did something go right?
Yeah.
Or did something go wrong?
Yeah.
Yes, it's weird.
It's a little weird.
Like realistically, yes, it's weird. But for tugging the heartstrings and passing of the baton or the shield, I think it made sense.
Because I mean, they weren't gonna kill Captain America.
No,
they weren't gonna just banish him or sunset him like other characters. So they're like, well, what's the I guess easiest way of discontinuing his journey? And that's like, well, making him old is an easy way of going about it, because he's just gonna.
I mean, because I think I said this in our Cap episode too. It's like they need an ending that makes sense for him, and the only ending that made sense for him was him ending up with Peggy. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's totally fine.
All right. 33. Cap. Okay, in all caps, by the way. Cap, where did the duplicate suit come from during the 2012 time heist? Which is also true. I hadn't thought of that. How did he just miraculously have? Well, yeah. How did he have the 2012 suit? Because he was wearing a different suit when they went quantum. He had a different suit under that armor.
I call that movie magic.
Movie magic.
Because no one's going to question
gigantic
it.
error.
Like when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Like now people can.
Yeah.
Like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, then now it's like.
These are the kinds of things that like the critics that rate this movie like 10%. Yeah. This is what they're thinking of. Like, how could he possibly be the same Captain America? He's a different suit.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Didn't even
I
think
call
of
that editing magic.
Oh, that's great. 34. Shall I read it?
Go for it.
Also, like, they had a whole conversation about how you just don't bring Nat back, and it was just impossible to do. But then they went on to literally bring back Gamora when she died the same way, meaning that they couldn't get their exact Nat back, but they still could have brought her back or get her back, which is also true. They could have.
I can't disagree.
Dang, right? Like, that's absolutely true. They could have gone to a different timeline and picked up a different Nat, which
the movie would have been 4 hours long then.
Yeah, legitimately. But I mean, we do see that in What If too. Like, it's a different Nat that ends up with a different team.
Yes.
One timeline versus another, and so they've kind of paid homage to it through there. But that's an incredibly hilarious point, because they could have, if Bruce missed her so much, he could have gone back to some other time, but of course they would just be like, oh, there's restrictions on the timeline and he can't stay for too long and yada yada yada. Whereas with Gamora, they did kind of, it was part of the process of retrieving the stones. So
technically Gamora right now, because she's from that 2014, that's technically an incursion.
She's technically 100%.
Because she's still in this 616 world.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can ask Kevin Feige that one.
I know. That's a wild one, because 100%. She's absolutely not supposed to be here. So is that going to be a problem? Or are they just going to run course with that film and just be like, futz the rest of it? Like, we're not going to play those rules. Yeah.
35. If Peggy Carter died in 2015 and not an Avenger, then why is Peggy Carter still so important to the MCU? What movie were you watching when you came up with this question?
That had to have been Civil War. Because she died.
When she died?
Yeah.
Yeah. So important, because that's Steve Rogers' lay day.
And also co-founder of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Like, she held her own in the end, really.
But I don't think she is as important now.
No.
For sure.
I think importance versus what's a good word? Importance versus Impactful. Yeah, that's the perfect word. Are two very different things.
Yeah.
I think she's made an incredible impact on the MCU, but her importance in the MCU is very different.
Yes.
Like, I personally find her very important, but I could see why she isn't to many people very easily. But I love that dame. So, yeah. 36? Yeah.
Also, why is Peggy Captain America if she's literally British? Like,
well, she was Captain Carter.
Captain Carter.
Yeah. Which would also be Captain Britain, but Captain Britain is a different character in the comics. So,
but yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
If you're a comic book fan, but now you know.
Yeah.
Look, you can look it up.
37.
37. This is amazing. Why is Harry Styles not Harry Styles?
Oy vey. I was wearing my Arrows on tour shirt the other day, and I was just like, why do I own this?
What? Like, why does she not, like, is she asking why does Harry Styles?
Why is he not playing himself, maybe?
Maybe.
Harry Styles is actually not Harry Styles for once. I
love that. He's a superhero.
Yeah.
He's Thanos' brother?
Yes. Half brother, I believe.
Half brother.
Yeah. No, sorry. Thena's, wait. Yes, no. Thanos. Yeah. And then Thena is the niece
Of Thanos. Love that.
Ooh, weird. So weird.
Yeah. So we don't know.
Yeah.
But glad to see a man of his stature be in the MCU.
Yeah.
38. Who is the highest power? Eternals, Celestials, the Watcher, and then there's bullet points of the.
I did that.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
because I mean we said it very plainly in our Eternals episode, actually, number 16. Because this question comes up a lot because the Eternals are supposed to be these like very incredible, like almost flawless heroes or super powered beings like gods, and then where does that place them on the hierarchy of Celestials and the Watcher? And so in our episode we did mention that the Celestials are essentially, the easiest way to think about it is Celestials are God, Eternals are angels, and Deviants are devils. And so when it comes to the Watcher, I feel like he's in this weird spot.
Purgatory.
He's like a purgatory. Yeah, where he breaks all the boundaries of hierarchy. And so he's not necessarily more powerful in a tangible sort, but he's so powerful that he's not beholden to those rules. So I would almost say that he's the most powerful because he foresees all of those timelines and destinies and happenings of even the Celestials. But he has no power to change any of it. Yeah. So it depends what your definition of power really is, But yeah, I would say the Watcher's at the top of that, and then Celestials, and then Eternals. Yeah. Yeah.
What 39 was Ego a weird Celestial? What was his issue? Why is he not as cool as the ones in Eternals?
Well, he was also kind of like a rogue, right? Like he was just like an offbeat Celestial that decided to take on a slightly human form.
He planted his seeds on multiple planets, so that way he can eat those planets. Like a madman.
Yeah, he's just a little.
Just a rogue, not great Celestial.
And he's not part of that traditional set, right? Because like I feel like that, like God, capital G. Speaking of ego, I feel like God with a capital G is different than, say, God with a lowercase g, right?
Sure.
So I think that Ego is more of a Celestial with a lowercase c, whereas like all the gigantic ones we see in Eternals and come to know, and even in the Guardians ride in Walt Disney World, those Celestials are a completely different set of beings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that he's just different. And yeah, there's aliens, and then there's like, Guardians is a perfect example too. Like they're all different species and such. So maybe Celestials, while some of them were born with a very distinct purpose, then there are those like frickin' ego
Yeah.
that just go around and they do things. They know stuff. Number 40. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to put it out there. I think she might have been watching Eternals when she wrote these questions.
100%.
Yeah. Number 40. Are the Eternals Greek mythology or, and names in parentheses. And so I stripped this again from our episode 16 and more or less 90% of those Eternals are from Greek mythology. So very quickly, Gilgamesh, portrayed by Don Lee, is based on Gilgamesh from Sumerian mythology with strength and kindness. Phastos, aka Phil Stoss, portrayed by Brian Tyree Henry. He's based off of Hephaestus. Makari, portrayed by Lauren Ridloff, is based on Mercury from Roman mythology. Sprite, portrayed by Liam McHugh, is based on numerous sprites and tricksters from European mythology. Kingo, portrayed by Kumail Nanjiani, is potentially based off of Kingu from Babylonian mythology. Ajax, portrayed by Salma Hayek, is based on Ajax of Greek mythology. Athena, of course, portrayed by Angelina Jolie, is based on Athena of Greek mythology. Icarus is portrayed by Richard Madden, based on Icarus of Greek mythology, and Circe, portrayed by Gemma Chan, Geoffrey's wife, is based on Ceres of Greek mythology. So, yeah, it's again one of those lovely parallels that, you know, Marvel creators kind of call back to historical and mythical lore, like they did very much the Asgardians. So, very similar there.
Nice. 41. Why is Sharon doing this much? Like, we get it. You're sad. You got kicked out. Grow up.
I love it, like the jump around. So we've gone back to Falcon and Winter Soldier Land.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Grow up, dude.
That's just a fact. That's not even a question. Like that's
we know
a fact.
the government turned on you and you had to, you know, build your rep up in this like just violent city.
Yeah.
But look at you now. You're a drug lord.
I know. I think that's it. I think she's drunk with power and she's like, oh, okay. She got a taste of it. And now she's like, cool. I'm just going to keep doing this.
42. Back to Eternals. Why did Druig create a cult? Reasoning? Is he Wanda? Confirm he's not Wanda.
No, he's not Wanda.
I think he was just fed up with the way that Eternals team was running.
Yeah.
He was like guys, I can control people. I can control a whole town to the point where there's no violence, everything goes smoothly. And Ajax was like, obviously you can't do that because the Celestials are just no, we can't. You're not allowed to do that. And he was like, whatever, peace, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I think he just wanted to create a community that he was able to control, not because he's power hungry, but so that like he can just live in an area, neighborhood, microcosm of like just serenity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where things just like flow. Everything's just moving and flowing like effortlessly.
Yeah. I think so too.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And
so
also like
that when the Eternals come back to visit him, he's like, you guys are screwing up my flow here, bringing all this bad stuff, all this bad juju to this peaceful place that I found.
Exactly.
But yeah, 43. Does What If have anything to do with the actual non-animated MCU timeline? I say no.
No? I say yes.
It has to do anything?
I think it does have to do with the real people, with live action. I do.
Oh, like getting the same actors?
No, I think it actually, like they're another part of the timeline of the multiverse.
Valid and fair.
Yeah. And that's why they do use the same actors. Because they're all variants. All the What If people are
the V word.
The V word. Number 44. Where is the TVA? Like, if it's not in the universe and it's not the multiverse, where is it at? LMAO. This question is not fully answered, but is confirmed in a different timeline than Ant-Man and the regular MCU, because a different Kang is in Quantumania realm.
I'm going back to my purgatory.
It's truly like a good answer though.
It is tough, and I see where the confusion could be, especially if you're watching all these movies and shows. You're kind of like, okay, so we have this 616, we have like the main MCU, and then now like wait, now you're traveling in time in Endgame, but you're using the quantum realm to pop up in those different timelines.
Yeah.
But then you have Loki, then he goes to the TVA, but you're like, what is it? Is it in the quantum realm? No, they don't really say that.
Because if it were in the quantum realm, and like Scott mentioned in Endgame, 5 years was 10 minutes for him?
5 hours.
5 hours, sorry. So 5 years was 5 hours for him. So, theoretically, if they're all in the quantum realm, say Loki, for instance.
So that's what I was saying. Like
that could take place in literally 10 hours. One day.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that first season of Loki, it probably happened in like an hour, or a couple, whatever it is.
That's crazy. That's genuinely like whoa. To think about it like that is absolutely wild. Purgatory I think is a good question, a good answer.
45 timeline, please. Someone give me a timeline.
So I did this.
Okay.
So
oh my gosh.
Desmari asked for a timeline for. So this is specifically
phase 4.
Phase 4.
Okay.
So which I felt.
That's how many projects came out in phase 4?
Yes.
Holy phases.
Yes. So in chronological order, the phase 4 timeline is Loki, I Am Groot, Black Widow. See, that I will say very first up, the I Am Groot one is really tricky because I believe that is...
What didn't he say?
Because technically Loki is first because it's 2012.
Yeah.
Technically. If you take that part out, then it's after.
Didn't Jane Gunn say that I Am Groot took place like...
it's right in the nugget.
Right after volume 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like literally between stingers in volume 2. And so technically Loki is further down, but because we're going back, we're using 2012 as the source. That's why he's first. So it's Loki, I Am Groot, Black Widow, What If Season 1, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, which by the way, again, Falcon and Winter Soldier and Shang-Chi take place in the same week.
Yeah.
It's the same week. So these all could be piggybacking right on top of each other. She-Hulk, Eternals, Thor 4, Spider-Man No Way Home, Hawkeye. So it's right before. Spider-Man is right before Hawkeye because, again, the telling factor is the Rogers Broadway poster.
Yes.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, Werewolf by Night, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Didn't Werewolf by Night happen in like...
That's what I think.
Early 1900s?
I saw a source that said that Werewolf by Night goes in between.
Wow.
So that one I'm like, I would move that in front of Loki. I think I would start with Werewolf by Night, personally speaking. The rest of it, tracks. So I believe that is a timeline. And what do you think? What do you think about Quantum 80? Where do you think it sits and all that? Timeline wise.
Did they say?
No.
They just...
No. It almost quite literally takes place after Endgame.
I was going to say it might be like maybe a year after Endgame, maybe 2, just because of him writing a book.
But I will say which was it? In Wakanda Forever, when Agent Ross, I mentioned this in our Wakanda Forever episode, when Agent Ross and Val is like basically got the jump on him, it says on the TV, Avenger Scott Lang releases a book. So I would say it's
maybe
same
the
week
time as Black Panther.
Which puts it before the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which means...
Oh my God, the holiday special.
Which also means if, let's say theoretically, because Falcon and Winter Soldier takes place in 2024. So Jeff is face palming right now. So if Falcon and Winter Soldier takes place in 2024,
Yes.
and that's roughly, I don't know, after Bucky's 106th birthday,
Sure.
that means that by the time the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special occurs, that is already 2026. Theoretically. And so Spider-Man...
that's the episode, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Yeah, so it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. Yeah. 46. We're almost there, buddy. 46.
That's just like, I was trying to keep up with it, and I was like, "Yep." Oh,
You were the math
I was
equation
like,
meme.
"Whoa, yeah."
You were
Gosh,
Yes.
46. Since Vision was never human, would he remember Peter Parker?
That's a good question.
I did exactly that one.
But he's not the same Vision anymore.
He's only embedded with
The
memories. Wait, they never even met
Technically, no. Well, they did fight on the battlefield in Civil War.
in Civil War.
Whose side was Vision on?
Oh, they were both on Tony Stark's side. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes.
So they would.
So yes, technically, because he transferred the memories to White Vision.
Yeah.
So technically, yes.
he should know who he is. Whoa. Mind blowing,
I
right?
guess we'll find out.
47.
On the same note, does Kang
Or
/
Loki.
Loki know Peter?
I think Kang, yes. Loki, no.
No. Yes. Kang, yes. Loki, no.
And Loki's also another person with a British accent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Hilarious. Kang just knows everything.
Yeah, Kang knows
He's
everything.
probably fought Spider-Man multiple times.
He probably doesn't even remember.
Probably killed
he knows him.
multiple times.
Absolutely.
So Kang, yes. Loki, no.
Yeah.
48. You can go.
Would Sharon Carter know Clint's wife was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? Absolutely. So that's curious. She had to have known because Sharon is agent not 13
13.
and Bobby Morse is agent 19. So they came in the same time. Well, sorry, Laura.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was
Sorry.
looking at Bobby right above your head.
Sorry.
Sorry, Bobby.
Laura.
So Agent 19, Laura Barbara Morse, I'm sure is her name. She came in, around the same time. So they would have had to have known each other in the field, which is actually
That's a great question.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would have never.
Yeah. So
No.
I would vote yes, absolutely. But they've never had to cross paths because they narrowly missed each other in Civil War because Clint was on Cap's side.
Correct.
And so Sharon would by proxy know that Clint perhaps was married to Agent 19. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Number.
49.
Why does the blue man fly with chicken feathers? She's talking about
Namor.
the Talokan.
Namor. Yeah. The blue man fly with chicken feathers.
This kind of goes into the next
Yeah.
question, number 50.
Which is kind of why I just want to say very quickly, like I couldn't possibly have capped it at 50 because the rest of the questions up until the end of the list are so hilarious.
Okay, we're gonna blow through.
We're
these.
going to blow through these.
Why did they literally rip off Avatar? I'm sure that's a valid observation from a lot of people.
Sure. So 49. Go back to 49.
Why does a blue man fly
Yeah.
with chicken feathers?
He was just born. So they've introduced the word mutant into the MCU.
Yes.
And so mutant, of course, the origin, the original word, the derivative is mutate.
Yes.
And so mutations and such come in forms of imperfections or unexpected growths or whatever you want to call them. And so in Namor's case, he happened to sprout wings on his feet.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to that of what do you call it?
Gosh.
Achilles. It's very like Achilles
heel?
Yeah, it's an Achilles heel almost, you know. And so he just happens to use them, and it's very much like in the comics. He flies and he goes underwater, and it helps him. It propels him to swim. It's almost like a fishtail, but they're just chicken wings.
Gotta rip them off.
Yeah, and so speaking of why are they literally rip off of Avatar? I mean, we discussed this in our Wakanda Forever episode, in that they're blue because
they said it in the
it's an underwater thing.
Yeah, because they stayed underwater for so long.
Yeah.
It kind of just mutated onto their skin.
Yeah.
Their skin changed color.
Yeah.
So
because when they're above water versus underwater they're like neutral toned, and then when they rise up, they're blue.
It's like getting a tan.
Exactly. Underwater tan. As for Avatar, like those blue aliens are quite literally those creatures. Like that's just the color of their creature.
Be honest, man. I don't remember.
I don't remember
the origins of Avatar. Man.
No, for sure. I haven't seen the new one, so yeah, I don't know. But they bear minimal similarities. I think blue is also just an aquatic color. Yeah. So, and they're just normal size. Avatars are like 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. So they're quite different otherwise. But yeah, that's number 50. But for number 51, why does Namor not age at all? I believe it's another mutation thing.
A mutant thing for sure. It's like the whole like Wolverine thing.
Yeah,
I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Like he gets old, but it takes him a long time.
It takes a much longer time. Yeah.
I think that's just how it is. I've accepted just things that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
In MCU lore.
And I feel like they also hint a bit about it, like the Talokan in general, or just like, we've said this word a lot in this episode, enhanced, right? They just have these not abilities, but characteristics that separate them from normal people. And for the Talokan, aging is just different for them.
Yeah.
52. Is Ant-Man chronologically after Loki? No. I'm assuming
Loki?
I'm assuming Quantumania. So no, I think again it's
coincides.
It coincides with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and also that then means Loki's time frame has moved
a little bit.
Quite a bit, and so maybe it's not so much 10 hours, but again, he's been transported to a different timeline.
Yeah.
So maybe originally he was moving quite slower or faster, and now he's ahead of the game. I don't know. Yeah. That's an interesting thought.
53. The Timekeepers, are they the same as the three kings at the end of Loki? Are the kings timekeepers? So he who remains created, right? The Timekeepers, like the illusion of the Timekeepers, making it seem that making it seem like they created the TVA and they run all this.
Right, because there were mechanics and puppets at the end.
So to answer the second part of the question, yes, kind of.
I think so.
The kings kind of monitor all the timelines.
Yeah.
So
and we're further introduced to the arena of Kangs.
Yes.
In Quantumania. So I think it's perfectly valid. And also, the three in the three primaries in Quantumania, I also feel are very representational of the three that could be this. I don't think they're the same.
Maybe that's who the He Who Remains like based it off of, like those three main guys. It's like I don't like these guys, but let's call them something else.
Yeah,
Timekeepers.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like Kangs.
Oh man, it's just gonna get wild from here.
So insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be so crazy coming down this Kang pike.
Yeah.
54.
Why does Loki's Kang have the power of prediction, but Ant-Man's Kang does not? Again, I think each Kang just has different abilities.
I think they have different foresight, or at least different points of foresight. So each one, they're unique in their own way, that they know their version of timelines and their perception of timelines, but they're not all exact.
Yes, because if you remember in Loki, He Who Remains was saying there was a guy, the original Nathaniel, whatever it is.
Richards, yeah.
Nathaniel Richards. He discovered that universes are stacked
Yeah.
upon each other.
Yeah.
And that he was able to travel to visit each universe and share technology. And so he just you discover other variants of yourself that just have different specialties.
Yeah.
And that was He Who Remains specialty.
Exactly. Woo! All right, we're almost there.
Oh yeah.
55. Where did Ravonna go? Ravonna? Is it Ravonna?
Ravonna.
I can't remember how they said it. Yeah. Go at the end episode of Loki. Where you at, Queen? Which also, yeah, that's true. I forgot she got zapped away. So wherever all those people,
zapped away?
I think she got zapped away, didn't she?
I don't know if she got zapped away or she went through a time pad.
Oh, maybe she did a time pad. I can't remember.
She got because it was like a memory thing because we don't know how she because remember all the workers at the TVA are variants.
Right.
They got taken from their timeline.
Sure.
So I think there was one episode where they go back. One of the guards, they go back to find out like what was her life before the TVA.
Yeah.
And I think Ravonna was like trying to convince like, no, this is my job. This is what I do. But then she's curious, like, oh.
Right.
So I think that's where we left off with her.
Mm-hmm.
So we might see that in season 2.
Well, also, do you remember what I said at the end of our Ant-Man episode?
Oh, snap.
Kang only has one love interest in the comics.
Oh, that's right.
And her name is Ravonna. That's her. So, to which Kang she belongs to,
we don't know.
But that's also a great point as to why she's there in the first place.
Yeah.
Because that's his love interest.
So
the next time we see her, it could be with Victor Timely. It could be with, at which we could get more of Ms. Minutes. Like that could be her too. We don't know.
Yeah.
The deflated
possibilities
body language
are endless, man. You gotta take what you can give.
Yeah, for sure. And so
what you're given. Sorry.
We'll see more of her very soon, I think. And I think people don't see that one coming, I feel.
Yeah.
Like unless they know the comic, at least the name, no one will see that coming. 56. All right, we're second to last here. If the quantum realm is only one single this is the big one. If the quantum realm is only one single universe, would Ant-Man's Kang be of existence in every universe? So again, if the quantum realm is only one single universe,
yes,
would Ant-Man's Kang be of existence in every universe?
I guess.
I mean, that's like almost an inverted question, right? Because there are variants for everything.
Yes, and then but that Kang, the Conqueror, got banished to the quantum realm. Yes,
because time moves differently there.
Yes, because the quantum realm is a universe
within a universe. Yeah.
So I don't think so. There's a Kang variant.
Yeah, but not that specific.
But not
Kang.
that specific one.
Yeah.
So we don't know what universe the Conqueror is from.
Right. Right.
So no.
Yeah. And so the Conqueror is a derivative of his universe put into the quantum realm. So technically, there's a Kang in the grander MCU, the main Kang, which we have not been introduced to
in
yet.
616.
In quote unquote 616.
Sure.
9999999.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've not been introduced to that Kang yet. Cool.
No.
Whoosh. Okay.
Kang Dynasty and Secret
Kang
Wars.
Dynasty, baby. And then last but not least,
did Ant-Man and the Wasp lose time when they got back from Quantum Universe in Quantum Mania?
That's the question, right? But like we said, and the callback to what Scott said in Endgame, 5 years was 5 hours. So if they were gone for a week,
Was that a week?
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it took
We
place
don't
over like a
know.
day or two.
It could have been a day. It could have been a few hours, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it was like quite literally in real time. I think it was probably 2 hours, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So they were probably zip zap zoop, as Peter B. Parker would say. Zip zap zop.
I will say just they lost some time. That's a fact.
Yeah,
They were in quantum realm.
but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's all the questions.
That was a marathon.
That was a marathon. I hope that was
Oh
as
my gosh.
entertaining for you as it was for
I
us.
hope we were able to provide some insight.
All right. I hope Desmari likes any of those answers,
Yeah.
because they're actually they're quite compelling. I think.
Yeah. 100%.
Super duper fair. Super duper. Yeah.
All
Actually.
valid.
Yeah. So
I'm just glad we got through them.
yeah. Last I heard, she was watching Moon Knight. So I'm curious.
I'm ready for the next set.
I'm curious for the next set of 50 questions.
100%.
So thank you again, Desmari, who, by the way, is the niece of one of our wonderful Patreon patrons, Joliz. Woo! So keeping it in the family here. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And so that said, thanks for listening, everyone. So next episode, we actually don't have anything set up just yet. And so it'll be another character study. Who we're going to cover, not sure. We've got some coming down the pipeline. We're keeping Gamora for Guardians, and so if you have any suggestions, please hit us up and
who
give
do
us
you
your.
Who do you want to hear about?
Yeah, seriously. I know who Jeff wants to hear about.
There's a lot of people.
I'm not ready for Kang yet. I can't. I gotta take a breather.
No, that's a lot.
I joked the other day with someone, and I was like, I mean, I might as well just start the homework now. Like, no matter when we do Kang, I
Just
might as
build.
well start
Just
now.
build.
Yeah, 100%. So please, like, hit us up on social. Let us know who you want to hear about. And so a We Are Groot salute to Nats, Jenny, Melanie, Choco, MG2112, Claire, Robin, Andrew, Eve, the Arachnerd, Katie, Ashley, Ariel, Andrea, Tyler, Laura, and Ed. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Oh, and of course, Joliz. Follow us on social at STRKCNTRST. And if you like what you hear, please review, rate, and subscribe.
Woo!
Yeah. And that's it, folks.
Thank you guys once again for listening, and we will catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Her? That's ridiculous.
Do not bring me into this.
Knock it off!
What? Just never noticed how black your eyes were.
They were replaced by my father as a method of torture.
He picked a pretty set.